Hi there and welcome. Dina Merby here, health strategist, to look through pillar number 3 of building a healthy relationship with food in your body. So we covered in terms of pillar number 1, which is your daily mindset, your planning, to make sure that you get into that motivation role. We also covered pillar number 2, which is the physical reasons why you might be turning to food. And when you're able to accomplish those 2 pillars, now we're ready for pillar number 3. The emotional factor. Now, a lot of times we might describe ourselves as emotional eaters. That when you're sad, you're bored, you're angry, you always turn to food. And that you might be doomed and everything that you try is a failed attempt. Now, of course, pillar number 1 and number 2 are crucial to get to this step. But the one thing I want to tell you is that you are not born to turn to food for emotional reasons. You weren't born this way. It's actually a learned mechanism. Yes. So when we think of it as a learned mechanism, we want to unlearn it. But sometimes it can be curious to see where did it start. Because it's not for the fun of it. That, for example, I'm sad and I will go eat my whole jar of Nutella. It's not just for the heck of it. We're like, okay, let's go for it. Something happened at one time in your life that food, that activity brought you peace and comfort like a coping mechanism. Let it be food, drugs, shopping, exercising, calling a friend, writing in a journal. All those are coping mechanisms to deal with certain situations and emotions. And some are healthier than others. And let's say you've been going through this for a long time. Every time that you're sad, you turn to food. What happened in the beginning, it was actually something that brought you comfort. Because food is there, it's accessible, you can do it on your own, you don't have to rely on anybody. But if you're here right now and listening to this video, that coping mechanism is causing more harm than good. And you want to maybe build new healthy mechanisms. Because we cannot just take out the trigger food. We can't. We need to be able to replace it with something else before we do that. And when you look in terms of emotional relationship building with food, since it is a learned mechanism, it's also giving yourself time to unlearn it. And the best example, because I love giving examples, it's like a highway. So the more you use the road, the more it's going to be used and paved. So if you've always been using food as a coping mechanism, and it feels like it's automatic, like you don't have to think about it and it goes straight there, it's because you build this like 4-lane highway and it always says, I'm feeling like this, start, point A is depression, point B, it's going to be the food. No matter what, it's there. We're trying to, from that depression, let's say emotion, we're trying to kind of start building exits from that highway. Start building new routes to not go for the food that actually brings you to the comfort. We want to reroute and bypass the food and then have that coping mechanisms that's going to help you calm and be happy. Now, the first time you're going to be building a mechanism, it's not going to be as easy because that highway's there. It's so accessible. You're so used to it. Practice, 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 and persistence. Remember, we talked about motivation. Persistence and consistency equals motivation. But also, persistence and consistency leads to new habits. So what I want you to do today, just for this emotional pillar that we want to talk about, because there's also the self-sabotaging thoughts that we're going to cover at another point. I want you to notice what is the one emotion that you always end up turning to food. One emotion. And I want you to write down 3 to 5 activities that you can do because you don't want to keep taking that highway that is the food. You want to kind of build those new roads. What are 3 to 5 activities that you can try every time that you feel that emotion to help you reroute to reach that end goal, which is calm and happiness. And I would love, if you're comfortable, to share what those ideas are, because the more we can share as a group or that you share under this video, the more you actually might be motivating somebody else to have some ideas. And if you have no idea, or if you tried so many things, do share it under this video and in this group, and I would love to support you to see why it's working, why it's not working, and to see how to balance everything. And the one thing I really want to leave you with this is that your emotional pattern to turn to food, it is a learned response. You're not stuck with it. But it's hard to take it out without having something else to come in, because we all need coping mechanisms, because we might all go through different situations. It's not always perfect every single day. We go through ups and downs, but those habits, those new positive coping mechanisms are going to help you get through them much easier and not turn to food and go through that vicious spiral of emotional eating and losing control with food. So I hope you enjoyed this pillar number 3, which is the emotional reasons why we might turn to food. If there's any questions, just message me. And until then, I wish you a happy and a peaceful day, and can't wait to see what your activities are. Have a good day.